Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had a great week. Happy Friday, everybody. This is a little bit of a later video than we usually put out on a daily basis. However, we've got a lot to get through, a lot of things that I'm extremely excited about and excited to share with you guys. I am still unbelievably bullish on Cardano, and I say that given the sort of price action that we've seen. Despite this price action, the fundamental reasons to be bullish on Cardano have never been so strong, and they've just been getting stronger and stronger really since September, since we had the Alonso hard fork, which is where we saw a huge run up in price and then a cool off in terms of hype. That hype is about to come full circle and start to really kick in again, ladies and gentlemen. In yesterday's video, we looked at DeFi Llama and we looked at really the start of the DeFi ecosystem. This is a taste, one Dapps worth of one Dapps that's relatively unknown about, a lot of skepticism around it, is already locking up quite a lot of Cardano. We're actually seeing a $1.7 million value getting locked into this protocol, and this is just one of many to come, ladies and gentlemen. That hype is about to see a resurgence. We're also going to talk about the fact that the number of wallets has continued to go up. On the 5th of January, we saw in one day 12,418 wallets get added to the network. We're also going to talk about the fact that Milk and Media are essentially coming up with a side chain where people who essentially have deployed smart contracts on Ethereum and are native to the Solidity language will be able to build on top of Cardano in a user-friendly kind of way, if you will. We know Cardano is built on a different language than Ethereum, but Milk and Media are essentially bridging that gap. And this is going to see huge exposure for ADA. Plenty of reasons why people are going to want to use Cardano and certainly deploy smart contracts on Cardano instead of Ethereum. And the fact that they're going to be able to do it seamlessly and they're going to be able to configure with things like MetaMask and so forth is really going to be very appealing. And I think we're going to see somewhat of a mass migration from developers, devs on Ethereum coming over and using the Cardano blockchain. Certainly, this is largely overlooked, the Ethereum virtual machine compatibility. We're going to be getting into that. We're going to be talking about a number of things. Even CNFTs are seeing a huge uptick. It's absolutely coming, guys. And it sounds crazy me being as bullish on Cardano as I am, given the fact that the market is an extreme fear. But I think there's 1,000,001 fundamental reasons to be exactly that. We're going to look at the charts. We're going to get into Bitcoin. We're going to look at Cardano, of course. We're seeing a lot of strength over here, guys. I'm sure you are witnessing it. And common trait for Cardano, this sort of price movement, it comes down. If we look at what we did over here, and what this led to, you can see that this has been continuous support. I think we're loading up for something, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think we're loading up for something. I know what we're preparing for. We're preparing for these Dapps to come online. It's a massively bullish fundamental reason. And if you look in terms of Cardano actually getting up, there's 1.3 million Cardano just locked into MuesliSwap. That is one unknown or relatively unknown, unhyped, speculative, skeptic app that is ADA compatible. We've got a basket of them coming online just in DEXs alone, and I think you're going to get Sunday Swap sooner than many of you think, in a week or so. Now, don't hold me to that. It's entirely up to them when they decide to launch, but somebody said the 9th Sunday looked like a potential day, but we'll have to wait and see. That's not something for you guys to quote me on. That's going to see a lot of hype get drawn into ADA, and given the sort of social media following that they have, it's going to blow the total value locked in MuesliSwap to pieces. MuesliSwap has done very well. We've seen Liquid get traded pretty nicely on MuesliSwap. It went from 12 ADA all the way up to sort of 60. There's opportunities in the crypto space everywhere, guys. You've just got to look for them. And in my opinion, there's an awful lot of opportunities and going to be even more coming online with Cardano. So let's start. This is the wallet addresses that we saw on the 5th. Huge increase. This, of course, is ADA and the EVM, and Milk and Media essentially are building a sidechain where people will be able to deploy smart contracts using Solidity code on the Cardano network. It's cheap and fast. Cardano is what Ethereum should have essentially been. Now, even though Ethereum going into ETH2 are doing things slightly different, they have a different consensus mechanism. One thing that they are doing is moving to proof of stake, and they're doing that for a reason. You cannot use Ethereum at the moment. Even if you were a millionaire, why are you going to Why are you going to get ripped off on purpose? It just doesn't make sense. There's plenty of other cheaper chains out there. One thing Cardano has that a lot of these competitors don't have is uptime. I listened to a Laura Shin Unchained podcast, and they had somebody on talking about the outlook for 2022. And this is somebody that deals with like hedge funds and stuff like that. And he said he wouldn't put millions of dollars on Solana because he simply can't trust it. It's a far riskier blockchain given the uptime and the issues that we've seen. He says he's sticking to Ethereum. You're about to get that competitor. I think Cardano is going to start to climb its way back up the market cap and actually excel. Now, we know Cardano is very tethered to Bitcoin. Few worrying things taking place for Bitcoin right now. We don't want this to be a neckline forming some sort of a head and shoulders, but we have had previous head and shoulders that have actually turned out to be nothing, and we've seen continuation from sort of a fake out, if you will. Let's talk about the Cardano BTC pair. Extremely positive. This to me is showing signs of bottoming out. Not only that, one thing you'll notice is for the first time since this pullback, you've broken above your 20 EMA on the daily. You've came back and you're actually holding it as support. In my opinion, looking for continuation. Fundamentally, there's reasons for this as well. I could quite easily see Cardano gaining ground against Bitcoin, and of course Ethereum. The Cardano Ethereum chart actually even looks better. You can see that you are really holding support and looking for that continuation. And remember, fundamental reasons for this to happen. Trading CNFTs recently, or certainly buying CNFTs and watching the floor prices, has really reminded me just how hype driven crypto still is. It is unbelievably hype driven. And when that hype dies down, like on CNFTs, Chill Kongs, for example, went really high and then sold off a little bit. And that's just all down to hype and exposure. There's about to be a lot of hype coming Cardano's way. You guys know it. I know it. Let's just see what happens when Sunday Swap launches. Of course, if let's say, for example, Bitcoin really tanked, the market would eventually catch up with it. But if Bitcoin does something like this and we see some sort of a relief rally, and we are ultimately expecting continuation for Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market at large, I think Cardano is going to do very well. And these charts sum this up quite nicely. This is Cardano and this is Bitcoin underneath. When we saw Bitcoin start to recover, and it typically is Bitcoin that leads the recovery, Cardano really was allowed to flourish and actually went on to put in new all-time highs when a lot of other coins hadn't even got close. So I think you're going to see a similar thing taking place that took place over here, and of course Bitcoin may support that with a rally to the upside, where we see other altcoins perform in a slower manner. That also backs up what we're talking about when we're talking about Cardano versus Ethereum. You're about to see probably Cardano do very, very well, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. Fundamental reasons for this. We haven't just pulled this out of a hat, and it does sound crazy, certainly given the fact that the market's in extreme fear to be talking about this. But this is honestly what we think is around the corner for ADA. So I'm exceptionally excited. Trying to get you guys excited. I understand how painful it is watching this. We cover on our sort of daily cryptocurrency market updates the reasons why our market's acting in the way that it is. And it has a lot to do with the external world around us. Everything's so tethered to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is very tethered to the US dollar. There's things going on with the Federal Reserve that are sort of tinkering around with bolstering the US dollar, whereas typically it's been very weak, which is essentially what happened in March 2020 was that weakening event, which allowed not only crypto, but anything tethered to the dollar to really accelerate, Cardano included. We're now seeing a potential call off that. The real test is going to be, can Bitcoin survive and make headway with all this in play? And historically it has, so I'm very optimistic about that. I don't think we're in a bear market. I don't think we're necessarily entering one. We certainly haven't had any signs of that. And ultimately, I think Cardano stands a really good chance of playing out in this sort of an Elliott wave theory fashion, where this is the kind of we're at the end of your fourth wave, ready to go into your fifth wave. Fundamental reasons why this may take place. So that's really largely all I have for you in this video. What we're trying to do is we're trying to present evidence to suggest why we think what we think. And the evidence is there, guys. And given the fact that, one reason I think Ethereum is going to start to climb the ranks, one reason Binance Coin has done so well is because they really capitalized on Ethereum and the short fallings. and kind of stepped in with a very cheap and usable blockchain. Solana has seen the hype that it's seen due to their smart contracts and the high TPS. Things like Terra and Avalanche also have done as well as they have due to smart contracts. That kind of hype has been and gone for them. Cardano is about to have that. Cardano was a third place blockchain without any of that. I don't even think they had smart contracts live when it was in third place. I think it was the run up to it. And remember, coming back to this chart, huge hype build up, cool off. The hype is about to see a resurgence, ladies and gentlemen. It's something I'm very excited about, and I hope you guys are at the other end of the screens. Couple that with the fundamentals and the technicals for Cardano on a protocol level, just getting stronger and stronger. You know, you've got a real positive outlook for the rest of this year, or certainly for the immediate future. We'll see when Sunday Swap come online. I did hear somebody said it might have been discussed on another Cardano influencer may have discussed it coming online on the 9th, or releasing news to say that it's coming online on the 9th. We will see. We know that we have a number of other DEXs. We covered ADAX and their news to launch at the end of the month. It's around the corner, guys. Just hang in there. We're going to be watching these markets like a hawk and keeping you updated as we go through. All I have for you in this video, guys. If you enjoyed the content, a like is always appreciated. So is a comment. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next YouTube video. Thank you very much for watching, everybody.